continue on with this week's Hypocrite of the Week.
Cool.
Yes. All right. So this week's Hypocrite of the Week is a rabbi who had an alarm clock camera set up to take videos of the women doing their shower ritual. So I'm going to get this going here and see if you guys can see it and hear it. Let's see here. Google Hangouts. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
All right, we got the screen. Now let's see if we can get volume.
Currently recording women in the ritual showers. It allegedly happened inside Kesher Israel, which has served as the place of worship for a number of prominent people over the years. News 4's Pat Collins is live in Georgetown with more on this. Pat?
Wendy, a rabbi charged with voyeurism. They say he used a hidden camera in the women's shower at the synagogue. People in Georgetown are talking.
It's obviously horrible.
The crime scene. The Kesher Israel synagogue in Georgetown.
I think that's kind of despicable.
The crime, according to the police report, voyeurism.
It's horrible. I mean, that's all you can say. It's just absolutely horrible.
The suspect, Dr. Barry Freundel, a 62-year-old rabbi who's been the spiritual leader of the synagogue for 25 years.
And that sounds terrible. If that story is true, that's awful.
Rabbi Freundel arrested at his home on O Street in Georgetown this morning. Arrested after police raided the place and seized some computer equipment. I talked to some women who were nearby when it happened.
How many cops?
Five cops.
5 cops?
Yeah. Five.
And they took out about 5 hard drives.
Hard drive.
Oh, yeah, they took out a lot
They
of
kept bringing them out.
computers.
And did they take out the rabbi?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
we
they
did, but we didn't see that.
Really?
Yeah, he was in the back running around.
According to a police report obtained by News 4, a witness says the rabbi installed a hidden camera in the woman's shower at the synagogue. The police report described it as a dream machine, similar to this one, a camera and recorder disguised as a clock radio. According to the witness, the rabbi said he was using it for ventilation in the shower. Now tonight, Rabbi Freundel is in jail. He has a court appearance scheduled tomorrow. Live in Georgetown, Pat Collins, News 4.
All right, so
Wait. Ventilation? What? How?
Right, how does that even
That's
make sense?
That's my new reason for the alarm clock in my bedroom. It's for ventilation, honey. The
Okay,
alarm clock.
first, did you guys notice, or was it just me, that this guy seemed very emotionally charged? Sounded like he was almost going to cry reporting this thing.
Yeah, you know why? That's because he felt violated. He thinks he saw an alarm clock in the men's bathroom.
All right, so this rabbi, just to give you a little
nuts.
background on him, I've heard that he actually teaches at Towson University, which is approximately less than 10 miles away from me, and a place that I was considering attending school, which this really shouldn't affect it, but it's very interesting because it's someone in my local community, and to do these type of things, we shouldn't really be surprised. And the religious people, you shouldn't be surprised when you falsely place your hope and this power in these individuals who are just like everyone else. We do things that we shouldn't do sometimes. We make bad decisions. But you put these people in power and put all of your faith and trust in them, you're always going to be let down. You guys have anything to say about that?
Well, you know, this sexual component in Judaism, I mean, it has a long history. Because I remember there was a story a while ago about a Jewish guy that came forward and was outing a whole bunch of ill practices, like in like the synagogue. What is it, like steam showers or something? Like apparently he walked in on a on a guy that was pretty much just out in the open raping a young boy, just like right there. And like the guy that was raping the boy like got mad at him because he was going to report him and whatnot, and he and I can't remember the exact story. I know it's online somewhere, but anyways, I mean that it's not really surprising because I mean the amount of cover up that goes on in Judaism and these Abrahamic religion, it just seems to be a common thread between them.
Yeah, and 5 hard drives though. 5 hard drives.
Well, hey, you know what? Video takes up a lot, and if you're going to be a perv, you got to do it right.
Mm.
Yeah, that's always the way though too. Is people can get away with things, and it's always the greed that gets to you, right? It's always you just don't know when to quit. You got people that they can't just rob one bank. They go and they got to rob 10 banks, and then they finally get caught. You got this guy. It's like he's sitting there recording 5 hard drives worth of material. I mean, really? That's a problem. That's a problem.
That's more material than we all have on our YouTube channels combined.
Okay.
And it's really unfortunate because, yeah, I mean, things like that, these ritual showers, I mean, that's just, begging for exploitation. And we have, the Catholic priests that are molesting the boys. You have, and you even mentioned, Godless Engineer mentioned about how, these cases where somebody comes into a shower and there's a sexual assault occurring. And, that just completely draws my mind back to the scandal at Penn State University with Jerry Sandusky. People literally walked in on him assaulting these boys, and he was just like, oh, well, you're not going to do anything, right? You're not going to tell anybody. And, and they didn't because they wanted to protect, the football program, and they wanted to protect Jerry Sandusky himself. And that's kind of, the way with religion, too. They want to protect the leaders. They want to protect the name of their church or their religion. And, Jerry Sandusky, his entire operation, his charity was all based around religion, too. It was named, the Second Mile. So that was a biblical reference. But, yeah, I mean, as far as this guy, this rabbi, it's really awful that he would take advantage of people like that. I'm at least glad that he got caught for it. But it just goes to show that you give anybody enough power and enough influence, and it's going to be abused. And you can't be fooled into thinking that because they are religious or believe in God or anything like that, that they're above it, because they're human and they're just as susceptible as anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of Jerry Sandusky and all that, I actually, in my opinion, the people that help hide these type of people are actually worse than the pedophiles themselves, because in my opinion the pedophiles, they have something mentally wrong with them. Like there's an imbalance chemically in their brains that they don't process like those sexual urges or those sexual fantasies or whatnot. There's something chemically wrong in their brains with how they process all that. Either something happened early on that changed their chemical makeup in their brain or whatnot. But while I'm not saying that excuses their behavior, you can definitely blame their behavior. But in my opinion, the ones that don't have that chemical imbalance, right? Those people are actually worse because, and most of the time it is religiously based, because in Christianity you have this idea of forgiveness. And I think that it's actually a very, very dangerous thing, this idea of forgiveness, because what you have is these people that are told that, you need to forgive people in order to get into heaven, or you need to forgive people of trespasses against you, or you need to forgive people of one thing or another in order to be a good person. You're told these things, you're indoctrinated with these ideas. And so when you're encountered with these things, like for instance, walking in on a religious coach that is molesting a young child, and he spouts off, well, I'm not gonna do it anymore. I've asked for God for forgiveness or whatnot, or or think of a pastor that does that or something like that. I mean, these people hide them, like they forgive them. And they're like, okay, well, I'll forgive you, and it's between you and God or something like that, and they don't report them, and in that way they help facilitate him, assaulting other kids, and to me that is much worse than the pedophile actually doing, the thing that he doesn't realize is wrong.
Yeah, I think it's complete bullshit. And for being a rabbi with 5 fucking hard drives of video, which is more than the entire Reason panel and anyone that has ever sat in or been a guest on it combined, all the video they have combined is not going to fill 5 hard drives, which I'm sure were not less than 500 gigs. I was actually you with Hypocrite of the Week.
Yeah, I was actually kind of wondering like how big they were, because if they were like 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes, I mean that's a lot of video. He's had to have been at it for months.
You know he was going in. Once he got that first 500 gig, he probably went up to 1, 2, and 3, probably even 5. And this lady was saying that he was running around in the back. They came out with the hard drives first, and then went to go get him. Like, what was that all about?
Hiding more hard drives. He's probably got. He's probably. You don't understand. Those were the only 5 that he wasn't able to hide out of the 20 cases that he hid.
That just shows that the world is in a sad state of affairs, and religion is part of the problem.